All right, once again, get a call about some maple, and for friends at church, they lost some big limbs. These are just limbs out of the tree, so they're not perfectly straight. They got lots of character in them. So I went ahead and ripped them down the middle because they're so heavy. With the chainsaw, ripped them out and started to cut here. Generally put like a flat cut, and then I'll try and cut them down a little bit to get some of the weight off them. And then I was getting tired yesterday, so that cut didn't come out very good. But anyway, so there you go. All right, today is 9/29, and I cut this and air dried it 11/18 of 2024. So it's 9/29 of 2025. So that's almost 10 months, just a hair over 10 months that we put this in here. This is scratched through this one right here that I'm looking at. Anyway, this has been drying on top of this stack here. This was up to about, well, it's just over my head, which is about right here. So I restacked it in there because this has been drying for 10 months. So I put it in here. I'm going to check the moisture level on it and see where it's at on moisture level after sitting in the shed here for 9 months. And my shed has no insulation. It's been hot and cold and freezing, really hot in here. So yeah, there's no insulation or air conditioning of any kind in here, just a little bit of shade. So anyway, I had this partially full of some of these stacks. I was thinking about doing something with it, and I never got around to it. And so anyway, that was come off some logs. I've got some more logs up front that are maple. I'm going to be resawing them into boards here before too long. But when I got them, I of course painted the ends and then cut them down into manageable sizes. Those are red oak logs, and they are heavy. So they're 47 inches, so they're hair under 4 foot long, and they're too heavy. So I mill them down so I can handle them and move them around, and then I'll resaw them into boards. So I can get quite a few boards. Most of my boards in oak, I try to resaw down to 3, maybe 4 inches, and because they have a tendency to, warp and twist and doing different things. So anyway, people ask about bugs and things, and you can see the little bitty bugs and things that are in here. I've had a couple of wood borers that are still in here with little piles of dust that I put in there. Some of them are excreting some stuff. But anyway, as I went through the pile, I just dusted off, and these were all vacuumed before they were put into storage. So basically what I'm doing now is just run a dehumidifier at 95 degrees, and I'll have the heater going up to 95, and they'll put me through my dehumidifying pattern, and they'll start pulling air off that. On the back side of this, of course, I got 2 big box fans, and they're just sitting there blowing on low, and they blow through the stickers, and they come out this side here. You can feel air coming here. They hit a membrane like this, come back around, and they circle. And then, of course, the dehumidifier is over here, and the Dura heat, which kicks off at 140 on the heat cycle. So it'll get to about 139 and then trip off. And then I have a switch over here on the side. Let me double check and see if I got any humidity from a couple days ago when I was running it. All right, I have this set for okay, I've locked the deal. These electronic deals are kind of, I don't like them. I like knobs. Anyway, so I locked this because if you wear your hand over it, it senses it, and it'll change your settings. So anyway, I have it on high. It's on the humidity continuous run. It's going to be pouring the contents into the deal here. I had them in out the back side. Anyway, so that's there. That's just sitting on top of a battery case to get it up. It exits air back here, which is blowing it through here. So anyway, it's taking the humidity air there. And then the Duramax, not Duramax, it's Duraheat. It's going to be kicking in, and I'm going to be cycling it through the temperatures. And let me go ahead and plug it in, and I'll plug that into that. What this is a temperature control relay box that you can set your temperatures at. And right now it's set at 95 degrees and 89 degrees. It's going to cycle back and forth, and it will turn the Dura heat off through this. So it's going to be adding supplemental heat. Probably could get away without even running any, but I wanted to put a little bit in there. And the next thing I'm going to do is run the tool here for, I'm going to turn the power on, and we're going to look at the relative humidity here. And it's sitting, as far as air drying, it's sitting about, let me get it back over to, here to masonry, hardwood. Okay, see where we're at. Yeah, not too bad. We're at 7% there. 6.9. This one board I pulled out of the middle. It's outside there, and it's actually drier than this stack in here that was inside the shed, so which surprises me. But you know, it was getting more air blowing across out there in that thing than what I was getting in here. Of course, I'm wanting it to be a slow deal. Let's look what this one says in here. This is 6%. So I doubt if I'm going to pull any humidity off of that. I'm going to let it run for probably overnight, and then I'm going to put it in cook mode. And in cook mode, it'll go through there and pull the goodness, the moisture, and the bugs, because there are bugs in it. And it'll kill them out of there and go to point. So next thing I need to do is put this door back on here. And there's my door. These are just held in with Torx screws. They go around here. This is the alignment pin that goes into these two holes. There's a hole here and the one on the other end, and they fit right there. Those dowels are pegged in there. And first I hang them over that, and then I run them in there. So we go ahead and get that all configured, and let's get her going. So there's a stack that's probably 2 feet wide by 4 feet long by probably about 30, maybe 40 inches. Now it's probably about 30, maybe 38 inches. These panels here are 4 feet, so that kind of tells me where I'm at. So there you go. So anyway, now it's gonna make a lot of nice hardwood, red oak, and we'll get that done. And if you don't think you don't use stickers in this business, you do. You'll need more stickers than you possibly can imagine. Of course, I just recycle whatever it is that I get, but I'll be putting them to use here in a little while when I get ready. I'm getting ready to tear this shed down and build a little bit bigger one and a little bit better. This shed's 27, almost 30 years old, and the siding's all warping and, you know, anyway. So there we go. Let's get her done. All right. Doors back on, and basically you just put it on the floor. You line it right up to the pins here, and it's pretty close. That's it. So not a whole lot to it. Yeah, and these little devices, you can easily forget them. So I recommend that you put your manual on how to set them. You may go a year before using them, and you'll have to look at them and say, okay, how do I change that? How do I change that? Because right now it's in in mode for the dehumidifier to run. The humidifier will only run between 95 degrees and under. It'll pull moisture. Anything more than that, it won't pull any moisture out of the air. So this thing's set up to run to 95, then kick back to 89, and then kick back on. So it will cycle off and on through that. And right now it's at 81.6 degrees, and there you go. So it'll warm up there pretty quick inside there. This has just got 1-inch foam in it, and it's full back foam. Nothing fancy. This is basically it. One side has got the aluminum on it, and the other side is just a regular foam with a plastic coating on it, and 1 inch thick. So that's enough. I mean, I get 140 degrees in there when it's 10 degrees outside Fahrenheit, which is cold here in Missouri. So it does a pretty good job of getting to it. And so it'll bump up to 95 degrees here just real shortly. Remember, it has to heat up all that wood in there first. So Once it gets all that wood heated up, then it'll start, pulling a little moisture. Like I said, I doubt if it pulls much moisture off of it. I'm going to run it on the 140 degree cycling off and on. That little Dura heat in there, it has kickoff at 140, so I can basically just, turn that on, turn everything else off, just leave the fans running, but turn everything off and just make it an easy bake oven with just the Dura heat. And of course it will kick off at 140 degrees, but I like to kind of monitor it out here just to see where it's at. So, and if I leave this on, it'll keep kicking heat off it when it gets up to 95. So, of course, an easy way around that is just simply plug it, unplug it. This box here controls. There's a relay in here that if the Dura heat is, this is only rated 1100 watts, and the Dura heat will take 1500 watts. So if I plugged it in directly to here, it wouldn't be long before this overheats and I'd burn this out. So I put a relay with a contactor in it. So this turns that contactor on and off by whatever setting I have on it, and then this powers the heater. So that way you save this and keeps it all manageable that way. And that's really easy. It's basically just using like a contactor that you use in a air conditioner or condensing unit or dryer, that kind of thing. So, but anyway, and it's switched by 110 volts. So there we go. And of course, there's your plug that this unit plugs in, because this unit controls that. So this plug comes back in here, controls all the control features, and then I have a regular, the 110 outlet that's coming in, and it's feeding that. So, there you go. And I always want to be checking mindful of stuff, and that's kind of what we're doing. So there we go. Let's get her done.